Hey y'all, Shell here. I'm sorry it's been a while since I've really done any kind of videos. Things have been really kind of crazy and busy. And I've had some special needs chicks that I've really had to focus on. I've had a blind one and one that had a big huge water blister. They're doing great and grown up and amazing. And then, was it last week? I had the first out of a small hatch that was an order for some customers, was born with spina bifida and a very large, and I mean large, opening to her umbilicus, to where she did have intestines coming out. Unfortunately, she was not compatible with life, and I'm glad that she passed away on her own. It did, however, take her a few hours, which I was greatly disturbed and upset by, because a chick like that, if it's suffering, which I believe she was, really should be culled. And for those that don't know what that means, it means euthanized, put down, put to sleep. The methods used vary from person to person, farm to farm, ranch to ranch, doctor to doctor, so on. On that day, I didn't have anything on hand immediately, so thankfully she did pass on her own. I do not use any other method other than the CO2 method for chicks, and that's a discussion for some other time, not one that I'll hash out here. So I named her Blessing, and we buried her in our memorial garden. But then later that day, another one in her hatch was born, and for the first 18 hours she was totally normal, and then all of a sudden she no longer had an equilibrium. It was as if she was in a constant state of dizziness, and it was horrible and sad to watch. I named her Derby because she just sort of looked like she was always in a derby race. She was really cute, but it was very sad. She would just lay on whichever side she fell on and spin in circles. She had full use of her legs. She just didn't have an equilibrium. So I worked with her for almost a week, did everything we could, and ultimately yesterday I had to put her down. Then, also yesterday, I had another hatch that was in the process of hatching. It was also a personalized order. And the very last one out of that hatch was born with spina bifida. Now, I did have quite a few make it all the way till day 21, but unfortunately they had internally pipped, which means they poked a hole through the membrane of the egg, but not through the shell. And because I can't see through the shell to see that happens, it often goes undetected before they suffocate, and unfortunately I did lose many that way. I did not fully examine them to see if they had any abnormalities, but that had happened before this one was born with spina bifida. I'm sorry if my voice starts to go. I have a condition with my throat that causes that. Anyways, so then this one was born, and spina bifida is not really all that hard to miss. This just has varying degrees of severity, and I'll show you What, of course, made me realize it first. Let me take her out for you. I got her in a little snuggle sack. Here we go. Hi there. I've been calling this one Felicity. That's her name. Here we go, baby. I know. And see, she doesn't have normal use of her legs. Most of the time, she keeps them behind her. She has a very large opening for her umbilicus, but unfortunately, if you look at her back, if she'll let us here. Let's look, baby. She has a spot. It's not as big as her sister's was. And it's wet. It's always wet, which means she's leaking fluid. I know, honey. Let's see. I don't know how well it can be seen. It's so hard. But if you see there, that is an opening. I know, honey bear. I know, baby. And if you notice the difference when I touch her, I'm certain that it hurts her. So, this is one way that spina bifida looks. She eats. She drinks. Hi, sweetheart. She flaps her wings and she rolls around. She poops. But she can't walk. And I do believe that, see, she does this a lot. I know, baby. I do believe that she is incompatible with life. I don't believe that she could have a safe and healthy future as an adult or a juvenile or even a chick. Even with, if I were to hand feed her, hand water, hand clean her like I do right now, for the rest of her life, she would be miserable. Absolutely miserable. I mean, she chirps all the time because she hurts. I had hoped, in my gut that maybe this wouldn't be so bad, and because I do know that some chickens can live with spina bifida. It just depends on the severity. So I've seen a lot of posts. There's some posts today that on the internet, on Facebook, that kind of got me thinking that I should do a video on her and just sort of talk about. It has nothing to do with not wanting to try or not wanting to help an animal. Sometimes you can't. I have Eli, who was Ellie up until recently, that I mentioned earlier, was a special needs chick, and everybody said to cull. I was like, no, I don't think this is something that, because other than that, totally normal. We popped the big blood. I mean, this was a big blood booster. It dried up. Ellie grew and grew and grew and became an Eli. Totally healthy. There was no reason to cull. But this is different. So I encourage everybody to really think when you have any situation before you. I understand that you don't want to be the judge, jury, and executioner. You don't want to play God. Whatever your reason is, your faith is, your spirituality is, consider the suffering of the animal. Consider that you have been given this beautiful little being, even if it's only for a short period of time, to chaperone, if you will, through this adventure or this journey or this you know, part of life, whatever you want to call it. It's for a reason, and we have a duty. If we bring these babies into this world, we have a duty, an obligation, a job, a duty to make sure that we don't let them suffer. We are duty bound to make the right decision by them. They didn't ask to be hatched. We certainly wouldn't let our dog sit there and suffer like that. I wouldn't. And this whole, oh, we'll let nature take its course, that can be really painful. And keep in mind, they're not getting medical care. So, I can't let little Felicity here be in pain and suffer every day in, day out, until this finally catches up to her and kills her, however long that would take. That would be so selfish. So I urge you all to not ever think of your personal opinions when it comes to the needs of our babies, because they need us to make these hard decisions. So that's all I wanted to say. Sorry I haven't made very many videos lately. Like I said, things have been crazy. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll win.